And hello and welcome to a 30-minute lesson with Harriet Tubman. I'm Karol Brown and I am thankful that you're here tonight. This is the fourth of a four-part series where I have been able to come together with people on Zoom and share a little bit about Harriet Tubman and what you can learn from Harriet Tubman and what I've learned from Harriet Tubman. Tonight, it's a little different. Usually I have a short story video to show you of myself doing Harriet Tubman. Tonight I have a special guest doing a presentation. I have two special guests actually. So I have Atiera, my daughter, as a co-host, and I have a guest speaker on my panel that you'll meet later, Johan. So she'll be telling you about a special event that she's hosting next month in April. So tonight our theme is support women. And this is also Women's History Month, and it was also on the 10th of March is Harriet Tubman Day. That is a day that is celebrated in some of the Eastern Shore states that know more about her and where she traveled through. It's a day that just celebrates her life. We don't know exactly the date that she was born, but she did pass away on March the 10th. And so we do know that just marks that she actually was here, that she passed on March the 10th. And so we celebrate the Harriet Tubman Day, Women's History Month. Was a great reason to do support women for this month's presentation. All of my presentations are from my book, which I'll show you more about. In the book, my book is called 30 Lessons in Love, Leadership, and Legacy from Harriet Tubman. Lesson 24 is Support Women. I begin all my lessons with a quote. And for this one, it was Margaret Thatcher who I used the quote. Margaret Thatcher was the British former Prime Minister of the UK. She said, "If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman." Do you all agree with that? I sure do. So I like that to have a theme and a nice quote from someone that's familiar to people so that you can see common thoughts and it helps you remember what we're talking about. In this chapter, Harriet Tubman tells stories about some of the ladies that she knew as she was mostly after the war, I would say, but during the war too. When she became free, she moved up north and spent a lot of time, most of her life, end of her life was in New York, the New York City, but also upstate New York. She was active as an abolitionist, and most people don't know that she was active on the speaking circuit as an abolitionist. So she met a lot of really strong, courageous women. Susan B. Anthony is one, and she was able to get support from Susan B. Anthony to help people as she was bringing people from the South to freedom up through New York on up to Canada. Sometimes she would get assistance from Miss Anthony. She also marched with some of the women, marched for women's suffrage movements. And Harriet Tubman once was at a women's conference with Miss Anthony, and she fell asleep, like she always does. But when she was awakened, they were calling her up to the stage. So she came up and said, let them know that she was a conductor on the Underground Railroad, and her train never jumped the track, and she never lost a single passenger. I think that might be where that famous quote came from. That's one part of the story where I heard that she told that to the ladies at the convention, and they cheered. So they liked what she said. Mary Church Terrell is the second lady you see, and you'll learn more about her too in a few minutes. And most people recognize Sojourner Truth. Now, Harriet Tubman had opportunity to um, meet Sojourner, and they were friends. Sojourner offered to take her to the White House to meet President Lincoln. I think if you go Google on the web, if you Google Sojourner, you might see a picture of her with Lincoln. Harriet Tubman had an opportunity to go to the White House with Sojourner, but she didn't go. And in my 30 lessons in Love, Leadership, and Legacy book, chapter 24, where she mentions Sojourner, she talks about her speech, Ain't I a Woman? Now, a lot of people are familiar with that speech. And this gives me an opportunity to introduce our very first special guest. We have a presentation of Ain't I a Woman?
Well, children, where there's so much racket, there must be something out of kilter. I think that twixt the Negroes of the South and the women at the North all talking about rights, the white men will be in a fix pretty soon. But what's all this here talking about? That man over there says that women need to be helped into carriages and lifted over ditches and to have the best place everywhere. Nobody ever helped me into no carriage or over any mud puddles or gives me any best place. Ain't I a woman? I could work as much and eat as much as a man when I could get it, and bear the lash as well. Ain't I a woman? I have borne 13 children and seen most of them sold off to slavery. And when I cried out with my mother's grief, none but Jesus heard me. Ain't I a woman? Then they talk about this thing in the head. What's this they call it?
Intellect?
That's it, honey. What's that got to do with women's rights or Negroes' rights? If my cup won't hold but a pint and yours holds a quart, wouldn't you be mean not to let me have my little half measure full? Then that little man there in black says, a woman can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Mister, where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with it. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the whole world upside down all alone, these women together ought to be able to turn it back and get it right side up again. And now they is asking to do it. The men better let them. Obliged to you for hearing me. And now old Sir Turner ain't got nothing more to say.
Thank you, Mama. That was my mother. I taped that last weekend. She has performed that on many occasions in her younger days, and she can still do it. And I appreciate her being a part of this presentation tonight. That's very special. As I mentioned, Harriet Tubman also was friends and associate with Mary Church Terrell. And the other ladies listed here are the founders of the National Association of Colored Women. Harriet Tubman was among these ladies who saw the need in the community. Yes, they were also wanting to vote, but the black women saw the need to have help for their children, getting education, families that were struggling for food, clothing, and housing. So the black women at that time, called the National Association of Colored Women, came together and they started organizing ways to help the community. Their theme was Lifting as We Climb. There's still a National Association of Colored Women. There isn't a group here in Dayton area, but they are still out there, and I plan to connect with them and hopefully share more of Harriet Tubman's stories with their affiliates and different associations. So there was some more great women doing wonderful things. Harriet Tubman was also a bodacious businesswoman. That's an old word, but I like to say it. Bodacious, impressive, awesome, brave in action, remarkable. Wouldn't you think that describes Harriet Tubman? People don't realize that when she was in the Civil War, they hear that she was a scout and she was a nurse and she was a spy. But she was also a businesswoman and she was a mentor for other businesswomen. Harriet Tubman spent her days working in the hospital caring for wounded soldiers. But at night, she gathered the women into her cabin where they made pies, gingerbread, ginger ale, and the ladies would sell it during the day, and Harriet Tubman would share the money with them. She was showing these women how to take care of themselves and their families by having businesses. She also established a laundry service, and the women would clean the uniforms and clothing of the soldiers, and again, earn a living to take care of their families. Harriet Tubman also had a business in New York, up in Auburn, New York, where she lived for the most of the end of her life. She and her husband made bricks. So she was a bodacious businesswoman as well. I like to help our young ladies today learn how to be like Harriet Tubman. And that's what my program's all about. Harriet Tubman 3LC is Ladies, Leadership, and Legacy Coach. This is a copy of my book. And as you see on this page, it says second edition because I am working on a second edition. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Just to give you an idea of what the leadership workshops would be like, I have had an opportunity to have a 4-hour workshop with a group of young ladies in Tacoma, Washington, and they were a group with their name was You Can Make It. Now, I was sponsored to present to the girls from the Ebony Nurses. So the women in this picture here some were black nurses and some were community leaders that brought the girls together to help them learn all that they could about being strong women. And my presentation is all about helping the young ladies learn how to be servant leaders and to recognize their own leadership potential. I'm big on making sure that we connect the 4 C's, 5 C's. I've added community to it. 21st century curriculum was recommended that children learn how to be good communicators, how to have critical thinking skills, be creative, and collaboration. And I want them also to know their responsibility in the community. That's where the servant leadership comes in. In my book, when the young ladies read, and each person gets a copy of the book and a workbook, lesson 23:4 tells them that at the end of the lesson, after reading the story, they'll get lessons learned. This one says, seek women for camaraderie, support, joint efforts, and advocacy. and as mentors. So these are things that we can help young ladies understand when it comes to supporting other women. So other things that pointed out that Harriet Tubman was a woman of action. She sought out other women to work towards improving life in America for everyone. Women are strong, and when dedicated to a cause, you all know we are unstoppable. Women can and should work towards supporting each other. Older women, such as me, and Harriet Tubman, the reason I present her as a 92-year-old woman, older, more mature women are important in development of the self-esteem and the leadership of our younger women. That's what this is all about, helping our young women. Also, at the end of each chapter, I ask questions, and I'm going to pause here for a minute to see if you have any responses. What are some of the traits that these women that we talked about just a few minutes ago, Harriet Tubman, Sojourner Truth, the ladies who formed the National Association of Colored Women, Susan B. Anthony, and the women's suffrage movement. What are some of the traits that these women demonstrate in their leadership skills that makes them great leaders? If you have any suggestions for what you think, I hope you put them in the response. And if you have some that I don't have here, we'll add them to it. Compassion, courage, service. Now, I am a proponent of servant leadership. And when I'm talking about service, I'm talking about seeing the need to help other people and to support other people in their efforts to do well. They're visionaries. They had love. First, love for themselves, and they felt the need to do what they needed to take care of themselves. Love for their families, love for their communities. Determination. Are there any other comments anyone had? Tiara, did you see any comments anyone like to add to this list?
Yeah, we have a few things that came through. Courageous, selflessness, intelligence, perseverance were just a few that came through.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for participating. I am all about participation, and this format doesn't yield as much as I'd like to have, like we were in a workshop. What I want the girls, another question that comes at the end of the chapter is, what are some of the traits, these traits that you share with these great leaders? I want them to know that we are a sisterhood. You can have compassion, love, service, visionaries, be courageous, all those wonderful accolades that you mentioned in the chat. We want our young ladies to know that this is part of what they are and what they can share in their own lives. That is basically from the chapter of servant leadership. But while I have you, I want to bring you up to date on what's going on with my company, Harriet Tubman 3LC, Ladies Leadership and Legacy Coach. In 2021, we're here now. Freedom, woohoo! I'm waiting to get back out and do live presentations, but until I'm able to do that, I'm still going to participate online. So because I found, and as so many people who are usually going out and doing presentations, we couldn't do that. Had to start thinking about something online. So I have joined up with some wonderful people at Wright State University, and we are making a movie about Harriet Tubman and how I tell her stories. I'm calling it Harriet Tubman Love in Action. The movie has been recorded. We're in the editing phase. I hope that we will have it to premiere in another month or so. So look for a blog announcement about that. Also, through networking, I found out about OutSchool. OutSchool is a online platform for small group classes. So, say for instance, you had a child that wants to take a class. You can go. There's so many different interesting classes there. But I plan on presenting Harriet Tubman, the 30 lessons in Harriet Tubman, through the OutSchool. Don't have my school up yet. Again, that's coming on my blog post. Hopefully, my first class will be free and in April. And I will continue some form of Zoom webinars. I'll keep you informed on those as well. With the storytelling, the book, the workshops, I'm putting together a curriculum package. So, Ladies, Leadership, and Legacy Coach is a package that I want to bring to communities, groups of working with young women. I need you to help me. Just to give you a preview, this is the scene of my movie site. It looks so realistic. I just love it. Just to give you a little tidbit, this was shot at the Caroline Park in one of the cabins there. So this is an original old cabin. And that fireplace was the only heat. We were there in January and it was freezing. So just a little background story. I also said that I'm doing a second edition of my book. One thing I'm changing are some of the quotes, actually most of the quotes. This is the quote that will now be in lesson 24 from the beautiful Felicia Rashad. Anytime women come together with a collective intention, it is a powerful thing. Whether it's sitting down making a quilt, in the kitchen preparing a meal, in the club reading the same book, or around a table playing cards or planning a birthday party. When women come together with a collective intention, magic happens. Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So I decided that would be the quote for that support women in my second edition. How do you support women? Now, I know you all have some ideas, and you're welcome to share them in the chat. I have a few here suggesting how we can support women. First is educate our young women and educate them in the concept that we are a sisterhood and we need to support each other, encourage each other, network, share what you know, share positive information about other women, not negative things, and support their businesses. I am interested in working with women's groups that are already working with young ladies, like the Girl Scouts, Girls Inc., Mrs. Obama's Girls Opportunity Alliance. So if you have a network to help me get to Michelle, hey, hook me up, please. Thank you. I'll find my way there eventually. But right now, I'm concentrating on groups that are available to me here in the Dayton area. But because it's online, I can connect with groups all over. So I'm asking for your support. Do you know any groups that would benefit from 30 Lessons with Love, Leadership, and Legacy from Harriet Tubman or Harriet Tubman 3LC? If so, please share my blog. Recommend us to them. Sponsor a young person in the OutSchool. Purchase my books. And please, if you have my book or have read my book or purchased a book, do a review on Amazon. It's sort of hard to find because I don't have enough reviews, but it is there. But you can also purchase them directly from me, from my website, and I will sign it for you. Call me if you have any ideas that you'd like to share. Love to talk to you. So I want to thank you for your attention for me sharing how to support women. Now I want to demonstrate that to you. I have a guest speaker, and she is coming to tell you about a conference and her own business. So, Miss Jahan, will you join us now? Thank you. Hi.
Thank you. I am learning a lot so far, Carol. Your mom's presentation was awesome. So thank you for this opportunity. So Carol invited me to share about the conference. She will be one of our vendors. Carol's will be. So this is a great opportunity to share about the conference. It's going to be online. And I'm in the business of encouraging women. When I say in the business, meaning that it's brand new. So the name of the organization is called WOO, which is the initials for Women Encouraging Women. We do have a Facebook page, as you can see on the slide. You can go on Facebook and do a search by putting WEW-Women Encouraging Women. So yes, please like us, and so you can get updated. We post quotes, and I also post some regular things on a weekly basis to encourage you. So as you follow us, you'll be able to be encouraged throughout the week. And the conference is really a coming together experience. There will be different speakers talking on different topics, and we will have entertainment and vendors for shopping experience, and then opportunity to network. So all of that is going to be online, and you can purchase your ticket. So here's the website, but I can also put it on the chat so that you can have access to it right away. I think I copied the link. So here it is again. So you can go online. We do have some bundle specials, like buy two for a cheaper price, 3 or 5. So yeah, my vision is to encourage women, empower women of all walks of life. And I basically want to create a platform to bring other people to do that. So those speakers will be doing the encouraging and the networking, and then of course we women, we love to have a party when we come together. So that's what there will be entertainment. Um, I think that's all I have. Is there anything else you would like me to share, Carol? Any questions maybe anybody have for me?
What about the speakers? Any special keynotes that we want to look forward to hearing from?
Yes, one of the keynote speakers, Cassie Barlow. I don't know if anybody's familiar with her. She used to be a commander at Wright Patterson Air Force Base. So her topic will be on leadership. So I like to bring in different topics. How should I say this? Her focus will be the military woman, the military spouse, because we tend to take these women for granted. I think my vision is it's not all about only for profession. When you hear women's conference, it's usually developing your professionalisms, which is awesome. But I wanted to tackle woman, the individual person behind the title. Like, who are you behind the title, beyond the mask, beyond the role? So that's why the name of our theme for the conference is identity. How do you define yourself?
Sounds
So we will have another lady will be talking about being like what it's like to be a stay-at-home moms, and then she will relate to all stay-at-home moms. They still have value because running your household is like entrepreneurship. Really, you budgeting, you cleaning, you raising kids, and everything else in between. Laundry, as you see for Harriet Tubman, she brought the women together to do laundry, to wash the uniforms of the soldiers. So everything that we do as women, we have value before we picked up our hands to do them. So that's my vision, and
beautiful.
that's what I encourage the women. Yeah.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you for being here and sharing with us. And I hope you have a great conference with a lot of women joining you. And you can
So
go
yeah,
on.
yeah. Thank you for this opportunity to share. So yeah, definitely, I'm looking forward to have you to work with you. So hopefully you will get some connection. I love what you're doing as far as mentoring young girls, because we would love to be able to implement something like that. Maybe collaborate with you in mentoring, because we women need wisdom
That's right.
no
Right.
matter what age.
Thank you. All right. Well, our 30 minutes is up. This has been a great evening. And I look forward to connecting with everyone again. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.